Bitcoin is doing what it does best, chopping out a lot of traders. In today's video, we'll be going over the most recent Bitcoin price action, taking a look at what could be next in this market. We are squeezing within the exact same zone that we've been discussing over the past week. If you've been trying to trade this price action, good luck. It's very, very tricky to trade. Now, if you've been watching me, you do know that I have been favoring a little bit of a move to the upside. From around this wick low down to $60,000, Bitcoin managed to go all the way up to around $72,000. But there are still some pivotal levels that we need to reclaim if we can get any kind of short-term continuation here. And those levels would be at the bare minimum $70,900, which is right above this high in this wedge. So if we can hold on to here as support and confirm it as a higher low, then ultimately I do think that Bitcoin is making the case to be able to get a little bit more relief in this market. You've heard me say it time and time again. This is how I'm trading it. Now, longer term, I do still think that Bitcoin can be moving lower even after what would be a decent relief pump. You can see these are my current trades. I'm currently longing hype and I'm continuing to hold my Bitcoin short. Now, I've also started to long Bitcoin. I don't want to confuse you, but I do think that in the immediate short term, we can go ahead and get some relief here if Bitcoin is to form a higher low. For this to be invalidated, you do not want to see Bitcoin start tapping into this 65K level. If we come down to, for example, 66, this is still a valid zone to go long. And I'll keep you updated if I decide to add to my existing trade within my Telegram community. If you want to know exactly how I am personally trading this market, whether I'm going long, whether I'm going short, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword 2026. After clicking this first link, it'll bring you to Telegram and you'll get all of the details to be able to join my free group where I share all of my trades. The other thing to consider, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. By the way, if you're looking for a great exchange to trade on, because you can see here that every single video I'm showing you Bluffin, well, you can sign up to Bluffin with the second link in my description down below. With my link, you do get VIP1 and a 20% deposit bonus. Very, very nice bonus indeed, especially as we head into the depths of the bear market. So let's take a look at the price action here. If you've been watching the channel, you do know that I am favoring a move to the upside, not only because we're forming some higher lows, but also because we're starting to see very, very similar price action for Bitcoin as we got when we originally tapped into those 80K lows. Let me just show you here and delete my previous drawings. So Bitcoin essentially had a very aggressive move all the way down to $80,000. We got a decent bounce, and every single time that Bitcoin was chopping a little bit higher, at each pivot, everyone was calling for much, much lower levels. Ultimately, this led Bitcoin to pump all the way up to its bull market support band up to $97,000, $98,000, and then we dropped after the fact. I think that what we're seeing here is eerily similar. Now, what would invalidate this is if we start to get some regular closes below $65,000. At that point in time, I would start to favor a move to the downside, filling some of this wick. But until we can break below this level with conviction, and it's not just a wick, I will still be favoring longs in this market. As a matter of fact, if we go back to this previous price action when Bitcoin had that drop, you can see that after some time of chopping to the upside, Bitcoin essentially tapped into this same pivot level, which at the time was around $84,000. We managed to double bottom, and then we just chopped until we went higher and then eventually broke down. My higher time frame analysis is still the same. I do think that Bitcoin will be moving lower this year, which is why I continue to hold on to my short position. But in the more immediate short term, we can still trade the market that is right in front of us and make some profits as we head deeper into the bear market. Relief rallies can indeed be traded, and I'll keep you updated as my positions develop. Now, something else I want you to understand, the Coinbase premium here is continuing to just chop around at around the same level. So long as we don't get much more selling pressure from Coinbase, things will be looking quite positive, and Bitcoin may have established this level at its current low to go and get some continued upside, ideally to the mid 70K zone. But for now, it makes sense to not necessarily diddle in the middle. Now let's also go over the liquidation map. You guys know I love this chart. You can see here that there is around the same amount of cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market as there is cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market. This means that the longs and shorts are really battling out around this level. If we go on the 7-day time frame, it actually shows that there's a little bit more cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market, making the case for Bitcoin to potentially go ahead and sweep these lows before bouncing higher. But so long as we can hold here, we're still making the case for another higher low. What's most notable here though is that if you go on the higher time frames such as the 1 year, you can see that there are way more shorts in the market. There's around 25 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage all the way up from here to $105,000. And if Bitcoin were to go down to 51K, there would only be around 1.67 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. And so this is pretty significant. As I always say, I find it hard to believe that all of these aggressive shorts will be getting away with it. Now, at this moment, I really can't do no wrong. Of course, I can lose out on a couple of long trades, but I will maintain my existing position that I've continued to talk about on the channel. Some of you are giving me flack for talking about it every single video, but the thing that I want to get across here is I was waiting for this level for quite some time, and now you can operate in this market stress-free, especially if you've been in my group and you've been watching the YouTube videos. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell, because tomorrow I will be doing a live stream for FOMC minutes at around 11 p.m. my time. I look forward to seeing you all on the live stream. Now, I also wanted to bring this to your attention. The US national debt is set to surge above $2.4 trillion per year over the next 10 years, according to the new CBO estimates. As a result, US debt will likely reach a record $64 trillion in 2036, doubling from 2023 levels. That would be triple the debt recorded in 2018 before the pandemic, all while the annual interest costs of federal debt are expected to more than double to 2.1 trillion over the next 10 years. This also assumes the economy will not fall into a recession over the entire period. $64 trillion in debt is now the base case. And we've covered this chart on the channel before. Look at this debt. Absolutely insane. And this is one of the cases for saying own assets or get left behind. I do think that we will get some deep value zones for Bitcoin in this bear market, and it is your job to continue tuning into the crypto space, watching the markets every single day. Even if it's only 5 to 10 minutes, you can tune into my videos, because there will be so many opportunities in this market as we head lower and everyone gives up on crypto. Now, I also wanted to bring this to your attention as we wrap up this video. Right before I started filming, you can see that the NASDAQ 100 futures did extend losses, last down 1.1%, and talks between Iran and the US in Geneva have indeed ended. Iran-US talks are expected to continue in the near future, but we don't have any guidance as to when that could be. Something for you to be aware of. And the last thing I wanted to cover, Michael Saylor bought some more Bitcoin. Just another casual 2.5K Bitcoins added to the stack. Now, Bitcoin is just chopping around. So if you're not a trader, I can totally understand how you're getting bored of this market. In fact, I am a trader and I am also getting bored because it's not really giving us much clarity. Can we wick lower? Can we bounce higher? At this point in time, the price of Bitcoin is getting compressed, and I think that the next big move is sooner than most people think. And that sums up today's quick video. Bitcoin continues to chop out a lot of traders. Base case here is that we can still get that bounce to the upside, but we do not want to lose the 65K level if this bounce is to occur. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I have my bluff and leverage trading tutorial right here, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow in my live stream.